Hey everyone, my name is Chloe and welcome to part 2 of my favorites of 2022. So, as I said in the first one, I am trying to do 5 of my favorite books in each of the most popular genre or most read genres of mine. But as with the first one, this is going to be 5 with a bonus because there's one that just doesn't quite fit in. So, these are all books that I read in 2022, not necessarily books that were written in 2022, but these are my second, probably most read favorite genre, and that is mystery thrillers. So some of these kind of, let's just get into it. Some of them kind of toe the line between drama and that I don't know if I'd necessarily call them mystery or thrillers. But some of them are more your typical thrillers. And so let's just get into the books. So the first one I'm going to talk about, you've heard me talk about over and over and over and over, and that is Saving Noah by Lucinda Berry. So I have heard nothing but praise for Lucinda Berry, and this is my first and only, I think, right now that I've read by her, and I loved it. So this is about a boy, the mother of a teenage boy who was put in a correctional facility because he confessed to doing inappropriate things with his swimming students, young girl swimming students. And now he's getting out and he has an idea of how he wants to kind of reacclimate to real life. And the mother does not know necessarily how to support him through that. And so the majority of the book is from the mother's perspective and trying to reconcile in her head how her baby could be also this monster. And we get glimpses into his head, and this is one of those books that you objectively know what he did is terrible and what he deserves to be punished, and what he did is terrible. And yet we're feeling almost empathetic for him, and definitely for the mother of how do I reconcile this in my head? How do I support my son, but also do what's right? And there's just so much conversation around that. And I don't really want to say anything else except that this book will tear your heart out. And so you definitely have to be prepared for hard topics because there is a lot discussed around not necessarily the incidents of what happened. There's no graphic detail about what actually happened, but around this boy's thought process and around all sorts of tough things. Look up trigger warnings. All of these books probably look up trigger warnings because I don't want to say too much because with thrillers, you don't want to ruin anything. But this is one that I would say definitely toes the line between thriller and drama. It's definitely more of a drama, I would say. It's also super short. It's only 260 pages. And for a book to have me crying at the end that is only 260 pages means they did it really, really well. Next is an oldie but a goodie, The First to Die by James Patterson. This is the first in his Women's Murder Club series, and they all have numbers in the title. So First to Die is the first, as you might expect, and as James Patterson always does, this has super short chapters that just have you wanting more over and over and over. And this series is about 4 women who come together to solve murders. And in this one, we're getting to know each of the 4 women, and we're seeing them form a friendship and come together. And they all have different roles. One is a reporter. One's a DA, a defense attorney. One is the medical examiner, and I can't remember what the other one is. I can't remember, but medical examiner. Oh, and a police, obviously. So they're all working together to solve these murders, and I just love it. I love the feminism. Although it's not in your face feminism, I just love these women taking charge of stuff and getting stuff done, and I cannot wait. I have you see, I actually bought these from Half Price Books for $3, the hardcovers, and they're in decent condition. I mean, they're not bad, and I bought the first 8 or 9, and I have not continued just because James Patterson I really like to read physically because that short chapter stuff gets me going and makes me feel accomplished as a reader, and I just haven't I've just had other things on my physical TBR, so I haven't gotten to the rest, but I want to continue, and I really love this first one. And I am not a fan of detective stories or investigative, those kind of things, and yet I still love this one. Next is Reconstructing Amelia. So this one is by Kimberly McCreight, and I have liked most of the Kimberly McCreight books I've read, I think. But this one is about a mother who gets a call that she needs to come to the school because her teenage daughter it was involved in an incident. And this mother loves her teenage daughter more than anything in the world, yet she's struggling to find like a work-life balance, which I don't have teens. I have little girls, but I have 3 little girls. And like this mother felt really relatable. But anyway, she gets a call. So she goes and finds that her daughter has jumped off of a bridge or something and is dead. And then she gets a call or a message of some sort saying that she didn't jump. She was maybe pushed. And so there's that conversation. There's so much more that goes into this story. There's like teenage angst vibes. There's kind of cult vibes. There's like baby daddy drama. There's so much in this. And I really, really enjoyed this story. Next is The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. My goodness. And this one I feel like everybody has probably heard of because it just kind of blew up on all the like bookish stuff. But I read it on NetGalley, like not having any expectations, and I think that really helped. So the basic premise of it is that this girl gets this job as a maid and comes in, and it's a mother and father and a young girl, and the mother comes like says like this is okay, and then all of a sudden it's blatantly not okay, and so she kind of like tries to get her in trouble with the husband, and like there's just a lot of crazy weird dynamics going on, and the little girl is interesting. Like I don't want to say anything about this book except that you should definitely pick it up. I have read other Freida McFaddens and liked her a lot, and so I will continue to pick her up. Then I think that is the 5, and then the bonus is one that it is more of a dystopian book, but I think it's maybe the only dystopian that I read this year, and so I can't do like a dystopian favorites, but I loved it so much I have to talk about it, and that is The Measure by Nikki Erlickh. So this is a fascinating book, and I don't know why I don't read more dystopian because I generally love them, but this one is fascinating, and it's about a world in which everybody gets a box on their front porch that has a string in it, and that string is the length of your life, and it's not the length of your life from this point on, it's the length of your life in general. So there's short string people and there's long string people, and the way government reacts to string length is fascinating. The way people react. Would you open your box or would you not? And then if you did, would you tell people? Would you not? The stigmas involved in being a short stringer or a long stringer, the benefits. It's just fascinating. It is fascinating to think about, but it also, like, read with caution, because I also had, like, nightmares about being a short stringer and, like, or one of my kids being a short stringer, and, like, it was hard but fascinating, and thinking about the way different governments across the world react to these boxes. And if you didn't get a box initially, because you only get it if you're over 22, so then on your 22nd birthday you get a box, and so you wouldn't know your kids, but you would eventually. And like, how do you live knowing the length of your life? And it was just fascinating. Loved it. And it's definitely creepy and dystopian. And I feel appropriate putting in this mystery thriller video. So those are my 5+1 favorite mystery thriller, drama, dystopian hodgepodge of books from 2022. What were your favorites? Have you read any of these? Did you love them? Do you disagree? I love hearing like why people didn't like my favorite books too. So let me know all your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.